Jesus Christ, you people suck. Wow. Wolverine wanted to be in this.
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady.
But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
Alright, it's time for another week of N4G Radio. This is episode 654. Or are we still going to be in it? Yeah, May 31st, last day of the month, 2021. On the show this week, we have Anthony,
Hello.
and the Wombat will be joining us momentarily. So we're going to have mic issues, as per usual. Or as they would say in Canada, as is tradition.
Not as much fun without Gambus.
I know. He did tweet at us.
I mean,
for the first time.
that's just a general statement too, I guess. But I'm specifically referring to the Princess of Canada thing. Yeah. Well, he does know he can reach out directly, right?
I know. He hadn't tweeted for like 2 weeks, and then he tweeted, and then he disappeared again. He's an anomaly, man. He's an enigma. He always has been. But anyway, as I was mentioning to Anthony before the show, it's starting to feel a lot like E3. We had a big week of news. I'm assuming we won't see as much this week because E3 starts next. Well, the Jeff Keighley's thing starts on June 10th. And then, E3's in full swing. So we're less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah. I'm just glad that I'm glad that stuff is being announced again, because let's be honest, last year wasn't great.
Yeah.
So
Last year was the year of everything is not coming out.
yeah. And I don't blame anyone for that. It's nice to honestly, it's just nice to see devs excited to show off work again.
This is why when the discussion around the industry was like, well, we don't need E3. I was like, we kind of do, and not for people to show off their games, because people can show off their games whenever they want. We need E3 as kind of like this annual cultural touchstone where we expect to see these massive, announcements and people to get excited about video games because people are too goddamn angry about video games.
I think people are saying that, and I think they're taking it maybe too far. We don't need E3 the venue, but we need E3 spiritually.
We need the state of mind.
We need. I'm not going to go that far, but we need that sort of collective event of a time period where everybody comes to show off what they have, because just kind of having people do it whenever is really messy and hard to kind of keep track of. Yeah. It tells people to, you lose track of, when is this coming out? When is that coming out? Because, the games are announced at whatever time.
A Tuesday in April.
Yeah, so it's like you missed it, and I remember hearing about this game 2 years ago. Oh yeah, it's coming up next week. It's like, really? It's like, yeah, because they announced it actually again, the date on a Tuesday in April, but if you didn't watch it, you wouldn't know unless you're constantly looking up the game. So it is nice to have everything kind of collected in one space, whether it be E3 or Jeff Keighley's thing or whatever. It's just nice to have it all clean and in some sort of order.
Absolutely. And I am excited.
like even this week we've had stuff show up, and it's like, yeah, I guess it's around that time.
Well, it would always happen
No.
in the past. There would be pre-E3, and then there would be E3 proper. So, like, the stuff that people wanted to get out of the way that wasn't maybe necessarily on a big stage would pop up, like, a week or two before the big show, which is what it feels like is happening this year. But we'll talk all about that news later. Right now, let's talk about what you're playing.
Yeah, so I give me a second. I just have to check our site because I think it did go up, right?
I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
it's not. Right, it was next week that it's going up. Anyways, Maneater on the Switch.
Maneater.
I actually had the review done for embargo, but whatever. It's a really well done port. I gave it the same score as I gave the main console versions because that game, it doesn't change some of the issues that I had, which was the leveling curve. You know, early on it's far more difficult. By the end you're really not challenged, and while that seems like a good thing, the problem is it's so difficult early on in comparison to how it ends that it's an issue that any game that has you evolving from a stage where you are very weak and vulnerable to an apex predator is going to have. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the DLC, which so far hasn't been announced for the Switch version either, but honestly, the porting job is spectacular. I noticed some lighting differences. There's probably some particle effects. The draw distance may or may not be the same. It was always kind of foggy on the base Xbox One, but that's how the water is in general. But I couldn't tell too much of a difference until they do a close-up of Scaly Pete, and you see that, like, yeah, he's definitely doesn't have as much detail, but going into those cutscenes, it didn't seem to have same graphical glitches that the console game did, and the game is stylized enough, just enough, where any of those sort of, well, there's not enough detail in this character, kind of dissipates. It'd be weird if you were comparing them side by side anyways. I don't think Maneater is a good enough game that you should go out and play it for $40. I think it's a great game. There's DLC on the way, so they might even do a bundle later on, God knows. But
It's also on Game Pass now, as of
it's
the
on Game
Switch.
Pass, it's definitely a must play. I think it's fun enough that you should play it.
God damn it, Wombat.
I hate that. I hate that so much. Anyways, the I don't even remember where I was.
I
now.
just lost. I
turned
read
me off.
the. What's? Oh, you broke up? What'd you say?
I said you were talking about Maneater.
Yeah, I know where I was. I knew what I was talking about, but I don't remember what specifics I was talking about.
It being available everywhere on Switch.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say like this is a game if you played it on consoles that you should go out and get the Switch version. You'd have to really love this title. But if it's the only way to play the game, it's releasing at $40 again. Like, it's not, they haven't increased the price because it's on Switch. There's a physical version out there. It's just kind of an absurd fun game, and the only complaint I still really have about it is that the lock-on system in combat makes combat a lot more difficult than it should be. But as soon as you kind of understand the combat, because going back to it, it kind of just came back to me. I didn't have an issue fighting alligators at like level 2 or 3. But, you know, that's me going through the game once. It's still a great game, so I do recommend it still. Let me just see. I played more Pokemon Snap. I really like what they're doing with that game. Yeah, I'm trying to get through it for review still, but there's a lot to that game. A lot more than the first game had. There's a leveling system for each course, and as you go through and level up, the Pokemon become more familiar with you, and you're able to get better shots. It still has a little bit of puzzle work where you're trying to get certain Pokemon into like scenarios where it'll give you the best shot possible, and there's like 4 different poses for each Pokemon.
Probably like one of your French girls.
And I'm just ignoring that.
At least I only have to wear one goggle when I swim in my pool.
I don't remember what else I was going to say. Anyways, moving on. Played some Super Mario 3D World on the Switch. I picked it up finally. I did not play Bowser's Fury yet, but I just needed some good vibes in my life. So I played 3D World. That's still fantastic. They said they increased the speed. I would have to go back to the original. I feel like that game still plays the same way.
You would notice it if you went back and played it.
Really?
Like side by
Okay.
side, like just the sprint is just fast enough that you notice it.
I picked up a game because it was like $2 on the Switch, and I had looked at it before, called MacBat 64.
I've never heard of this game.
Yeah, let me just pull up. I can't remember the
Matt Pat. What is it?
MacBat
MacBat 64.
from Siactro.
Okay. None of
Who
these words. I
does-
think you're making up words now, but okay.
Okay, well, all video games is making up words now at this point, and all words are made up. I know that joke too. So Siactro is this developer, one guy, who's done some really interesting stuff that I need to play, like Silver Trigger 64, which clearly looks like GoldenEye, but it is an one-button on-rails espionage shooter. There's QE64, which is clearly inspired by Rare titles. MacBat is a sequel to QE64. That one's available on Switch. QE64 is not. And it's just these small 3D platformer levels that are clearly inspired by the 3D platformers of the N64, to the point where one level, I swear it's just the graphics ripped straight out of Donkey Kong 64. It's charming. It's like for $2, it's a $2 game type of thing. But there's some neat writing. I just can't believe how spot on the music and the graphics are. Like even the blurring of 2D textures it looks just like the N64, a muddy sort of look. Of course, it's brighter than the N64 can put out. But he did some other games. The other one that's on Switch I have not played is Tori 3D, which it looks like a PlayStation game. Like these games look like they're consoles, which is impressive. Also not impressive. Like, oh yeah, that's how that console did look. It's not great in hindsight, but good on you for capturing that feeling.
I did a search of this game, and wow. So just the overall, it says 9 out of 10 on Steam, 3 out of 10 on Nintendo Life.
Yeah, I mean it's not fantastic, but like if you like those types of games, it's a very small bite-sized version of that. It's not challenging. There's no attack. I don't even think there's enemies. It's basically just a like nostalgia trip. But it was kind of interesting, and I played it, so I'm bringing it up. I picked up Wonder Boy Asha in Monster World.
Oh, I didn't think you were interested because I asked you if you wanted it.
I knew I was going to buy it, so I didn't even bother.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I had, I would say reservations, but that's a very weak word. After watching the trailer for Asha and Monster World, I went, wow, this game looks like trash. The trailer was so poorly done. I expected this game to be a garbage.
Oh, fancy.
This game is actually a really well done remake. In the grand scheme of things, it is not as impressive as, say, The Dragon's Trap, which is hand animated and very pretty looking. This is a 2.5D game. You know, everything's in 3D, but you're playing on a 2D side scroller. The camera sometimes turns around, but it plays pretty true to the original game. I hate the fact that it's all voice acted in Japanese. Some of the characters are very annoying, but if you turn the voices off, some of the enemies don't make sounds when they attack, which doesn't feel right. So I left them on, but low.
Whoa.
But it's a good game. I'm very impressed. If you buy the, see, I don't know if it comes with the digital version, but if you like, I have the cartridge for Switch, and it includes the original Monster World 4, which this is a remake of, and it's really weird because you put it into the Switch, and Monster World 4 comes up before for the remake, and it's just because it's alphabetical, but it's still weird that they wouldn't fix that some way to have the new game pop up first rather than the game that it's a remake of. Because I feel like a lot of people will just play the original. Which
This is
a very
another
good
one
game.
of those games like what we talked about with Shmups a couple weeks ago. Like, I went to look at this to see if it was an impulse buy, and it's $35, and I'm like,
It is for me, Ken.
Well, but what I'm saying is like, they know their audience. Like, R-Type came out at $40 because they knew we would pay it. But like,
Yeah.
most people won't just buy. Like, I'm mildly interested in this game, but I'm not going to click add to cart for $34.99.
For
I'm just not.
sure. I think this has a better chance than say R-Type, but I understand what you're saying, yeah. And it's in, which I don't want to give money to, but I wanted to play this game and I wanted to have it physically, so here I am. But
Well,
In's
there you
that company that is part of Strictly Limited. At least they released the whole package with this one rather than like the Turrican game, which I'm still irritated about. I wish that Turrican collection was actually accessible to everybody instead of like two £50 releases. So it's £100 to get all the Turrican games on your Switch.
Yeah, I don't like Turrican that much.
No, me neither. And then the last game I played was Earth Defense Force World Brothers, which is more Earth Defense Force, but this time it's all voxel looking. I don't even know if it's technically voxels, but it's voxel looking. So, imagine someone like took Minecraft and then smashed it into Earth Defense Force, and you pretty much have the idea of what it is. In fact, the world is square in this version of Earth Defense Force and is broken apart, and you are collecting the remnants of humanity, I guess, to fight against giant ants and all the other aliens things that come down. But what's interesting about this one, so the last game was Iron Rain, I believe. God, at this point, there's like feels like there's one every 5 minutes. And that one was developed by Ukes. And that one was fantastic. I think it went in a far better direction than they had been with the other Earth Defense Force titles, because I couldn't tell you what the big difference between 5 and 4 was. So, this one, outside of the art style, you actually recruit other members and you take a team of 4 into each level, and everybody has different abilities, and they all come with specific weapons, and it goes beyond just having generic soldier man running around with guns. So I'm kind of impressed that you have like a mariachi
Yeah.
mixed with a British what are they called, the
Royal Guards.
Royal Guards and stuff. And it, I was impressed by how funny the writing is intentionally this time rather than unintentionally, which is how most Earth Defense Force games go. What are those things? And you're looking at giant frogs, and the other character goes, "They look just like us." What?
Oh boy.
Because they stand on 2 legs? Like, are you fucking kidding me? No, this one they actually wrote jokes, and all your team members talk in more than just "hoorah" type of Earth Defense Force chants. So, I'm impressed. I thought I was going to go into this and say, it's another Earth Defense Force game, what do you want from me? But,
I mean, you
so
do still
far,
shoot giant ants.
I mean, there's only so far you can go from it, from your source material. But you shoot giant ants and you have a team this time, which makes it a bit better than going in and having a bunch of guys that shoot and then they all die and then you're left just shooting ants by yourself, which is how most Earth Defense Force games go.
This one's co-op
It's still no...
too.
it's still no 2017, which I think is still the best, which is the Xbox 360 game, because it lacks the. I mean, this game is sort of smart enough to make its own humor, but the original Earth Defense Force on the Xbox 360, and even the ones on the PS2 before it, which were like Europe only, they had a very 1950s, 60s sci-fi feel to them, and they sort of lost that over time to go more anime, I guess. So I still think those are the ones that I would recommend, but yeah, no, this one's fantastic so far. So let's see how long I can go before getting bored of shooting stuff. And let's see if it actually slows down, because that was a major issue with the last mainline Earth Defense Force game, 5, is that it still had slowdown issues when too much stuff happened.
I've heard this game. I've heard on the Twitter discourse that the Switch version kind of runs like trash. But
Well, there's the surprise.
kind of to be expected. I was going to ask you about that because you're running it on PS4, like base PS4, right?
Yeah.
And it runs fine?
Yeah, I mean, those games outside of like the older PS3 and 360 games, and I guess the Vita games, they all run fine on PS4. There was a specific level in 5 where the issues really started to come in, and it was because it was multiple spaceships, and they just kept dropping ants to the point where eventually the game just can't handle so much happening. So you're firing off shots and you're dropping into 15 frames a second. This game, I don't know if it'll have that same issue, because the levels seem a lot smaller. I don't know how to put this. In a lot of the Earth Defense Force games, they give you a large map, even though you won't explore most of it for most levels. And this game doesn't do that right away, so they've cut down on the size of the map. Everything kind of explodes into voxels too when you shoot it, so I don't know if doing it with voxels, or what I think are voxels, it's hard to tell if it's just made to look that way or if they're actually voxels or not. It makes it easier on the system to handle too, but I haven't had any issues with slowdown. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, because
that's
I'm
always
running on PS5.
that's always like
so.
you get. That's usually when you get like 20 levels in, and I'm not that far yet. So,
All right.
and that's it for me.
Well, welcome, Wombat. We didn't get to properly welcome you when you joined.
Sir, how are you?
I'm good.
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 Yeah, good.
Good.
I'm just gonna say good a couple more times because I didn't play anything,
Okay.
and good. It's good.
Good.
Yeah, no. So I really didn't play anything. I played a little bit more Valhalla. I bought this $40 DLC and have spent basically all my time with the game since I bought the DLC, cleaning up stuff that was in the base game anyway. Because that's what I do. Just as soon as I started it, I'm like, okay, I could go to this new island that they call Ireland, and
Crazy new islands.
and I could do the quests there. But then I look around at the map in England, and I'm like, man, there's still so much here that I haven't done. So then I get distracted because I have attention deficit disorder, and it's easy for me to get distracted when I drop into the level and think, well, but before I go to the island and start this quest, maybe I should just clean up a couple of these quests, and maybe I should just collect all the Roman artifacts, and maybe I should just fish for one of every kind of every fish. And so that's what I've been doing, and I'm getting closer to cleaning everything up. But this is a game that I won't platinum because it's got some combat related bullshit trophies that I hate, but I will probably get most of the trophies, not all of them. But really, it's just about cleaning points off a map, which I know for a lot of people is their criticism of this series and other games like it, but for me, it's the appeal. So I love games like this where there's just a shit ton of stuff on the map to clear out, especially when most of the stuff's relatively good. And the one thing that Valhalla does that the other Assassin's Creeds didn't do is the side quests, which they call mysteries in this game, are generally very, very short. So they're usually like, I mean, you can get each one of them done in 10 minutes. And they don't have you running all the way across the map for a side quest. Like, everything you need to complete the mystery is usually, within 30 or 40 meters of where the mystery location is. So it makes them easy to check off as you go. And a lot of them have, interesting little stories attached to them. There's one at the very beginning or near the very beginning of the game, where a guy is dying and he knows that he's dying. So he's standing on a cliff, throwing all of his possessions off the cliff, so that they'll be there to join him in Valhalla. And you have to help him throw all of his stuff off the cliff. And then when you finish helping him throw all the stuff off the cliff, he jumps off the cliff himself. But it's not something you have to go anywhere for. Like, you just stand there and help him get his stuff done. There's a couple other ones that I really like that I don't want to spoil in case people come across them. Yeah, so it's easy for me to clear stuff out. And when the stuff's easy to clear out, it makes it hard for me to resist going around and clearing everything out. The one thing I'll say is that all of the like the gold and armor and treasure and stuff that you can find, there's usually a little puzzle associated with solving it. So it's not just go to this spot and pick it up. There's usually a little, you got to figure out how to get to where it is usually. So those, generally speaking, keep their fun, for me at least. But again, I completely understand how some people get overwhelmed by seeing all that stuff on the map or get tired of chasing down stupid little side things, but it's perfect for me, which is probably why 90% of my game time anymore goes into big open world games like this, because I spend 100 hours in each one of them doing all the little side stuff.
Right.
But the games I've got on my horizon, basically, well, not that horizon,
Different one.
are not like that at all. So I'll have a mix coming up soon. I mentioned Hitman 3 to play, but then you've got a couple games that I'm really looking forward to coming out in the next 3-4 weeks. You've got Chivalry 2, which I'm looking forward to. I love the first one. You've got Ratchet and Clank, and then Dark Alliance at the end of the month, or near the end of the month. So.
Oh yeah. I keep forgetting
Which we'll
that
talk
game
about.
is- yeah.
I assume we'll talk about in the news because they made an announcement this week.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that game is coming out, which is good because when it just drops, I'll be excited. Hey,
Yep.
we can just play this.
Yeah, it's. I've mentioned before how much I love the Legend of Dritz books, and he's getting a lot of press lately. So
He's got a
I
good
just
PR
gotta
guy.
hope. Yeah, so I just gotta hope that means we're gonna get something else, like a TV series or something, coming up soon, because there's a lot about him just filtering around on the internet lately, which is good because those books are phenomenal and long. There's, I think, 35 or 36 of them now. So,
Jesus.
but yeah, that's really it.
All right. I got a few things to talk about. I teased it for weeks, but I'll finally get to talk about Biomutant this week. But before I get to that, Western Digital sent over a couple hard drives I got to play around with, and I'm still running through the testing. They sent me an NVMe SSD 1 terabyte, which has been wonderful for games that I want to easily access that I don't necessarily want to put and take up the space on my Series X, my limited capacity Series X drive that are not necessarily Series X games. And then they sent the big boy, the 8 terabyte game drive, which I love. It's aesthetically, it's very cool looking. It's a lot of space, but holy shit, is it loud! Like, I will be sitting here working at my computer desk, and Xbox will be downloading an update in the background, and I'll just hear the hard drive click on and be like, By the
Wow,
way,
that's an angry sounding hard drive.
I'm taking classes in hard drive impersonations. I like to think they're paying off. But anyway, so far they've been excellent. I can definitely tell like they're a little faster than the Seagate ones that I was using, which is nice. I also like having the extra USB ports on the big hard drive so I can charge my controllers. That's a nice feature. I did run into an issue with the NVMe when I plugged it into the Series X. The Series X would not format it for games. It would just say this is a media drive where you can save like game clips and screenshots. And I'm like, I don't need a terabyte of SSD storage for screenshots and video clips. I need this for my games. And what I had to end up doing was taking it, hooking it to my PC and reformatting it, and then plugging it back into the Xbox. And then the Xbox was like, hey, do you want to use this for games? And I was like, yes, this is what I wanted to do to begin with. So it was kind of a pain in the ass, but in the end, I've got now 3 terabytes of SSD storage on my Series X, which somehow I've already filled up because I have too many video games. But anyway, talked about Earth Defense Force. I play a little bit of that too. I like that. That's fun. It's dumb. It's stupid, but I enjoy it. What else did I play? No. Where's my? There it is. The indie games. I'll talk about the indie games real quick. I played an airport for aliens currently run by dogs.
That's the name of the game?
That's the name of the game. It is literally a first-person game where you're walking around an airport that is run by dogs. And what's funny is like they're not like 3D modeled dogs. They're like billboards with a picture of a different dog breed. And you can walk up to them. You can talk to them. They kind of talk like how you think a dog would talk to you. There are vending machines around the airport, and the only thing they serve is different flavors of toilet water.
Pretty awesome.
There is one. There's one merchant in the first airport, because you can go to different airports. There's a merchant in the first airport that bought way too many cabinets, and he begs you to buy a cabinet. You can
Nice.
Part of this, because I'm looking at it right now, reminds me of jazz punk.
I didn't play that, so I can't.
It's got weird absurdist humor, and like every character looked like the person on the washroom sign, sort of thing. Very similar sort of concept, but I wonder if this is inspired by the dog meme from Ace Combat 7.
I have no idea what this is inspired by. I know it's just weird. Because you start the game in a cage. Like, you're locked in a cage with your wife.
Okay.
And then you escape from the cage, and then you get a ticket, and then you can take airplanes to different airports. But you basically just walk around and talk to billboards of dogs. I don't know, man. Sometimes I play a game, and I'm like, this is just fucking weird. And I don't really know what else to say about it. You know, I did check out Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries. I played through the tutorial because it's on Game Pass. I don't think that game's for me. Like, it's one of those games where like you're moving the torso and you're moving the aiming reticle with like 2 different functions.
Yep.
Very kind of slow-paced giant robot battles, which sounds cool, but I don't know. I just don't think it's for me.
Have you played you've played the Mechwarrior games before, right?
A long time ago.
Okay.
I was more of like a mech assault. The only like really in-depth serious mech games I got into was Armored Core, the first 2 on the original PlayStation. What was that second one called? It was Armored Core, and there was Armored Core, like, it had a subtitle.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, like, those are the only 2 games where I ever sat down and was, like just like fucking spending like an hour making my loadout, but that's probably because I had more time back then. Nowadays, I just want to jump
Yeah.
in and kill shit with a giant robot. So,
For sure.
but yeah, I mean, it's very impressive. It's plays really well. It's just a little too much for me right now. I played a 2D beat 'em up called 8 Dragons. I really don't think that's a very good game. Like the levels are literally probably 2 to 3 minutes. They're really small, maybe 1 to 2 screens. The controls feel a little awkward, like your character will automatically switch left and right instead of you kind of like it's really weird how it works. Like you'll get trapped in animations. Your character, when they're doing an attack, can be interrupted way too easily. They try to go for a retro look, but it just doesn't really pan out the way they kind of hoped it would. I don't know. I didn't think it was that great. Crossbow Crusade is one of those lanky pixel games, where everything looks real tall, pixelized. It's a left to right, action game where you're playing a dude with, oh shocker, a crossbow. You're shooting enemies. The hook to this game is that you can shoot the arrows into dead bodies to use as platforms. That seemed to be kind of
Interesting.
kind of the hook of this game. It's fine. Tringa Unlimited is basically Tetrisphere, where you have Tetris pieces and you spin this 3D block to place the Tetris piece into said block and solve said puzzle. And it's actually pretty good. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. SRX, the game, is a racing game that is better than it has any right to be, although it is also more expensive than it has any right to be. It's like $40. But it plays good, has a lot of modes. It's got truck racing, it's got, funny car racing, it's got, standard street racing, a lot of tracks. The handling is very good. There are a lot of dudes in that game that you can race as that I have no fucking clue who they are. It's a form of racing that it's not NASCAR, it's not IndyCar, it's not, I don't know who these guys are, but a lot of them are very old. So.
Interesting.
Eagle Island Twist is, I didn't get to play much of this, but it's a game where you are a character running around with an owl, and you can use the owl to throw at enemies to use as an attack, to also hit switches. I want to play more of this. What's that?
Sounds like, what was the game that came out last year that I reviewed? Where you had the eagle. Pathless.
Except this is 2D pixel art.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And you basically just aim with the left stick and you point like your owl at somebody and you throw it at them, or it'll flip a switch, and that's like basically your only form of attack. The game was originally a roguelike where you would do runs, but in the newest DLC, when they released it on PS4 and Xbox, they added a story mode where you can just play through the game and it's not randomized, which was nice. The next game I played is the game that you will joke about all the time. I played Horse Club Adventures.
Horse Club Adventures.
It is exactly what you think it is.
I doubt it's exactly what I think it is.
You create a girl character and a horse, and then you walk around and you ride them and you groom them and you feed them, and they all look like Barbies.
Yeah, that's not what I thought it was.
Oh.
I expected it to be a game. I expected it to be a game about horses that had a club and like they hang out and play cards on the back and stuff
I'd have fucking enjoyed that.
and drink gin.
Why gin?
I don't know. It just seems like the kind of thing that horses would drink if they had a club.
I can see that. What's funny is this is not the only, I'm using finger quotes, Barbie horse style game that came out this week. There was also Bibby and Tina at the horse farm, which that sounds like it could be something else.
It does.
But it is exactly, I think, what this game is as well, because the artwork looks almost identical. So, lots of girls racing horses on video games this week. I tried to play Gold Rush the game which is a simulation game where you're on like an area where you're going to mine for gold, but it is one of those that takes itself way too seriously. Like the tutorial was like, hey, get in the truck, start the engine, put the car in park, release the parking brake, drive to said place, get in, bulldozer, dig up this hole, like, and the controls of the machinery are just ridiculous. And I got about 10 minutes in, and
That's
I was
like a true sim.
yeah, and I got about 10 minutes in, but it's really janky.
Oh, wow.
Like, it doesn't feel good. Like, you know how Farming Simulator, like, feels really good? This game does not feel really good. So, I booted up a Ratalaika Games, a Little Lily Princess, and it's literally just a visual novel, and I turned it off. By the way, Ratalaika is going up, man. They got a new logo for their games. A new splash screen. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Also played a bunch of that Capcom arcade cabinet because it dropped on Xbox and Switch. Or sorry, Xbox and PlayStation this past week. Man, there's a lot of good shit on there. There's a game that like is the wombattest wombat game I've ever seen. Basically, it was Dynasty Warriors, but like from Capcom arcade days from the 90s. Like
Really?
You literally
What's
look
it
like
called?
fuck. I don't remember. I think it was in Japanese.
Oh,
So
okay. I'll have
but
to look it up.
you literally start off as this dude that looks like Lu Bu riding a horse, and you're just like mowing people down, like classic '90s arcade Capcom style.
That sounds freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, I played like a bunch of 1942. I played some Ghosts and Goblins. I loaded up Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting and got smoked because it's the arcade version. That collection is really nice if you want to buy all the packs. Like there's a lot in there. I like how you can switch ROMs. There is cheat code DLC, which, you know what? Fuck it, I bought it. It's 99 cents and it makes you invincible in every game. Because let's be fair, I'm never going to beat Ghosts and Goblins in my
Yeah,
age.
no, true story.
So, fuck it, I'll just turn on invincibility. So, I played some of that. I checked out Saints Row, the patch for Series X. Looks really nice. I like these free patches that make my games look better. Alright. I've been talking about it for weeks. I've been dancing around it for weeks. I played through Biomutant. I've played a lot of Biomutant. I can tell you anything you want to know about Biomutant. Did anybody want to know anything about Biomutant?
I want to know everything there is to know about Biomutant.
Alright, so it's an open world game. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. It's got a little bit of Assassin's Creed, where there's a lot of spots on the map. Instead of like climbing to the top and synchronizing, you piss on road signs to unlock fast travel points.
Nice.
The combat
There's a decidedly limited amount of piss in most of the games I play. So
yeah. I've play some more Duke Nukem. There's plenty of piss in those games.
true.
The combat is a mixture of melee, magic, and shooting. None of which feel good. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, good.
I mean, I asked you if it was like Elex, and I mean, Elex is a game where none of the combat feels all that great.
Yeah, the problem with each... So, to kind of break them down into three pieces, the magic portion feels almost pointless because most of the powers that I got did not really help me in combat. I played as a Psy character, and I had like this... I had the ability to throw like this radioactive thing that would like infect people. I had... the freeze one was actually neat because you basically did this AoE stomp where you would turn like part of the area into an ice rink, and enemies would like slide across it so they couldn't like attack you, which I thought that was a cool effect. The fire one was more my dash because the dash wasn't as good, but like if you use the fire, then he zooms across the level and leaves like a trail of fire to burn enemies. But it was more useful to get it out of like being crowd controlled. The electricity sucked because you had to charge it up, and if you were interrupted while you were charging it, then it was just a waste of time. So, and there's some stuff you unlock later as you progress through the game, but I just kind of fell off of the magic because the melee is where it's at. Unfortunately, the melee doesn't feel good. Like, you don't get a good sound effect. You don't get a good response when you hit people. It's also extremely easy for enemies to interrupt. So, like, if you do, like, there are certain weapons that you can have, and they'll have, like, a special move. So you tap the X button once, twice, third time, and then you'll get a pop-up to hit the Y button to do a special move if the weapon supports it. And a lot of times when you go to press that Y button, you get interrupted, and then your combo starts over. The shooting feels loose as hell because there's, like, this... I don't know a better way to put it other than a fickle lock-on system where it'll kind of lock onto it, but you still kind of have to aim. So a lot of times you'll lock onto an enemy and you're like spraying bullets at them, but your analog stick kind of moves to the left and you're missing a bunch of your shots. So like nothing in the combat section really felt good. You can craft weapons that are so overpowered that it doesn't really matter how much you miss, which is kind of what you have to do to compensate for the kind of loose combat. The game has way too many upgrade systems. So like there's 3 currencies that you can use to upgrade. You get your magic power, you get one that'll actually unlock new perks, but it will also allow you to build up your resistance to the elements, which is weird because when you get to areas in the game that are like radioactive or too cold or too hot, it'll actually unlock a side quest to go get a suit that will allow you to walk through those areas. So the resistance I didn't really feel like was necessary at a point. Biomutant is a perfect example of over-ambition and under-budget. Like, that is what this game is. Like, they tried to put too many systems, too many variables, too many types of things, and if they just would have kind of dialed it back a little bit, I think they could have really nailed some... Because the thing about this game is almost everything I've said so far has been kind of with a negative tone. I still really like this game. I like exploring this world. I love how pretty it is. I love how, like, weird some of the stuff is. So the story is kind of generic, kind of non-existent at most times, but the way it's presented with this like narrator who's walking you through this post-apocalyptic world and kind of explaining, you know, like when you run across a crashed plane or something, and it's like they don't understand what it was, and they call it the fly, or you come across the scrapyard. He's like, here is the She-Belle scrappy yard. You know, there's this really interesting world building that happens in an unfortunate, like, the budget ran out of money and we didn't have enough time to fill in the rest of this shit kind of thing. It's an impressive game for a small team that tried to do too much with too little money. And I think it's one of those games that I really loved. I really couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, I'm still playing it now. I'll pop it in and run off a few side quests. I finished the game. You can go back into the world. You can do a new game plus, or you can just continue your save before you do the final encounter. And I'm still playing it. I'm still running around the world. I'm still having fun with it. But it is no secret that so much of this game is just like you play it and you go, man, this could have been awesome. This part could have been awesome. These things could have been awesome, but they just didn't quite make it. And if this had been a $30 or $40 game, I'd have had so much easier time recommending it. But the fact that it's a full price game that underdelivers in a lot of areas is a lot of people are not going to be happy about that. So there you go. That's, I mean, Biomutant in a nutshell. I had a lot of fun playing it. I still play it. I still am not going to tell you should spend $60 to buy this game. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's a weird game. There's really just nothing like it, but at the same time, it doesn't match any. Like everything it does fails to reach the bar of any other game you've played.
It feels like the type of game. This is going to be. Some people aren't going to like it when I say this. It feels like the kind of game that's going to be on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus at some point.
People would be
So-
talking the hell out of it if they'd have got to play it for free.
Yeah, sure.
They'd have been like, wow, this is one of the most interesting, rough around the edges games I've ever played.
Yep.
But at $60, the only reason that we talked about this game so much is because of that comment that the developers made about the PS5 and the Xbox version. You remember that?
I don't remember that now.
Yeah, so when the game came out, like the Xbox version was running at 4K 60, but the PS5 version they couldn't because the backwards compatibility shit sucks on the PS5. And they made a comment about it, and it became a fanboy war,
Ah,
which is the only reason we're having a conversation about this game. Like, otherwise, people would have already forgotten about this game. And it sucks because you're right. If this had launched on Game Pass, or if it had been available on PlayStation Plus, and I promise you that in 6 months when it does, because we all know it's going to one of those things.
it sure feels like the kind of game that would go to one of those.
We're going to be talking about it again because other people are going to be playing it and they're going to be like, wow, this game has a lot of cool ideas and I like it, but boy, I'm glad I didn't pay $60 for it because there's a lot of things that are just not quite there. So, yeah, I'm glad to have played through it. I enjoyed it. I will probably still be thinking about it at the end of the year. I'm not going to say it's going to be on any list or anything, but it's certainly not a game I'm going to forget anytime soon. And I think that's it. So we can talk about what is coming. I did play. It's funny, Anthony, you mentioned 3D World because I also played some 3D World with my son. We're trying to play through it.
I mean, it's one of the best Mario games.
It is, but my son's a little impatient with Mario games, so it can be very hard to play that because especially once you get into worlds like 2 and 3 and you start getting those more complex like level designs.
Oh, and it only gets worse from there.
Yeah, I know. So it's like, but we're having fun. So that's all that matters. But let's talk about what's coming out this week. If you have one of those new consoles, which most people still can't buy, we've got Necromunda Hired Gun. That's the Warhammer release this week.
There's always one.
There was one last week that nobody talked about, nobody played.
Which one was that?
Storm is a strategy game. I don't remember the exact name of it, but yeah, that one came out last week. This week it's Necromunda Hired Gun, which I'm going to be real honest with you. I kind of want to play it. It looks kind of rad, and I hope it's good. Operation Tango, Stonefly, Super Animal Royale, Talisman Digital Edition, Alphadia Genesis 2, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, and Chivalry 2. This is the week of twos.
Yeah. Really looking forward to Chivalry 2. I really like the first game.
We also have Wreckfest coming to PlayStation 5, which is weird. Guilty Gear Strive is out, as well as Neptunia Reverse, Anthony.
I already said I'd take it. I haven't done one for review.
They're not going to send it to us, so you ain't got to worry about it.
I know. Well, it's the same with have we received an NIS a NISA game since I shit on?
We received two. Sure. I'll have you know, R-Type and Poison Control.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good then. I was gonna say because I was like, I'm pretty sure we haven't received one since I shit on Disaster Report.
Yeah. No, NISA published R-Type Final 2, and then Poison Control Drew is tackling, which he talked about last week, but I'd only played like 10 minutes of it. So. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, we've got Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection finally making its way over there. Hey, PlayStation owners, you all can check out Horse Club Adventures this week. Get excited. Necromunda is also there. Operation Tango, Stonefly are also there. Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown is coming to
They
PlayStation.
need to show off some other characters other than Akira, because he does not look Asian anymore.
Well, let's be fair, Anthony. That game is very old. So we've already seen all the characters. And in fact, most people have that game.
If you look at the original model, you're like, oh yeah, that looks like the character, and then you look at the new one, you're like, what did you do to his face?
Which is funny, because that game is built by the Yakuza studio.
Yeah.
Astalon, Tears of the Earth, Monster Harvest, Open Country, Tour de France 2021, Wasteland 3, The Battle of Steeltown, Wings of Darkness, Griftlands, I think that's the fanboy simulator, Griftlands, The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom, Mighty Goose, and then Chivalry 2, Guilty Gear, and the Elder Scrolls Online Blackwood. We've also got Carnivore's Dinosaur Hunt, DreamWorks Spirit Lucky's Big Adventure, Bunny Factory.
Speaking of horse games.
Speaking of horse games, man, there's a lot of horse games going on.
But Spirit, like, that's an old movie. Like, that was before
There's a new one
DreamWorks.
coming out on June 4th.
Okay. That makes a little more sense. It's like that's weirder than the Ice Age game.
I'm going to be real honest with you, though, Anthony. The only reason I know that is because I got served a commercial on a streaming service yesterday that showed the trailer for it.
I assumed so.
I had no idea they were making a new one. Bunny Factory, just in case. Astro Aqua Kitty. Off and On Again. It's a weird name. That's it for those. Let's get to the Switch. Get to the Switch, because the Switch is where it's at.
Okay, so I looked up Bunny Factory because, I mean, with a name like that, you just need to know. It is a rabbit in a robot suit.
I mean, I'd play that. Whoa.
Sorry, just looking at this stupid thing. It's just it looks like a cartoon rabbit, but then you look at the mech suit and it's just a super industrial looking thing.
Holy shit, there's a lot coming to the Switch this week. I ain't even gonna lie. Alright, let's get through this. I'm not gonna re-mention anything that we've already said on PS4 or Xbox One. So we got Stray Cat Doors 2, Strike Das Cans, Felix the Toy, Cowcatcher, Instant Sports Tennis, Justin Danger, The Oddworld Collection, Dungeon Escape, Everyday Today's Menu for the Amiya family.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Find 10 Differences, Grand Slam Tennis, Sludge Life, Basketball Club Story.
I've been living that sludge life since quarantine.
True that. Chroma. How do you say that? Quaternion? Dungeons of Clay. Free Cell Solitaire Collection. Haunted Dawn, The Zombie Apocalypse. Infinite Tanks, World War II. Motif. Mystic Pillars, a story-based puzzle game. Reversey, let's go. Sunblaze.
Let's go.
Wiki. Winds of Change. Wings of Darkness. Arcane Arts Academy. Basketball Pinball. Jesus. DC Superhero Girls Teen Power. Donuts and Justice.
That's a good one.
Nature Matters. Scaleboy Refractured. Sweet Bakery Tycoon. Tiny Lands. Caesar Empire War. Pyre on Fire, 10 pages. Retrograde Arena. Umurangi Generation. Zombie Raid. Alchemist Adventure. Oh, sorry. That's it. Alchemist Adventure is the 10th. So, we're not ready for that one yet. Whew. Okay. There's your Switch games. Goodness. Would you post it? Yeah, it's a pretty sweet looking rabbit in a mech suit. I'd totally play that.
See
game.
why I snorted now? Like it's two different art styles. It looks like he's from Wallace and Gromit, and then they.
It's pretty good. All right. Do you want to know what your free games are for the month of June? You have Xbox games with gold. You get The King's Bird, Shadows Awakening, Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, and Injustice: Gods Among Us. Those are your games for Xbox. For PlayStation, you get Operation Tango, which is a brand new release. You get Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, which is a brand new release. And you get Star Wars Squadrons.
Star Wars Squadrons is good.
Yeah. I find it fucking hilarious that we talked at length about how PlayStation was going to have to step it up because they were given less games than Xbox. But fucking Xbox needs to step it up because they are giving shit.
Yeah.
Such a weird thing, man. All right, here we're gonna do some small ones before we get into it. Man, it felt like E3. There were so many things going on this week.
Yep.
Destruction All Stars is getting online bots because let's face it, nobody's playing it.
Nobody's playing it.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No. Bloodstained is getting a sequel.
Yay!
Okay.
As Ryan mentioned, Dungeons and Dragons is getting offline co-op.
Yeah, 2-player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4-player online, but they'll have 2-player offline. Which I mean, couch co-op, by the way, couch co-op. Which is awesome. It doesn't really matter to me because I won't be playing it couch co-op, but I know there will be people who will want to, so I think it's great. I'm really glad to see that they announced that as part of their first free DLC in June.
Yeah, that is really cool. I think with this is one of those games that I think Game Pass is going to be huge for, and it seems like they're doing support for it, so I hope it does really. I just hope it's really good.
Well, I mean, the writing at least should be really good. The question is going to be whether or not the loop is good, which is always the most important part when it comes to a game like that. So, I've seen, how each of the characters plays, and the powers that they have, and it looks well enough that I haven't lost any excitement for it. So, and again, as I mentioned, most of the people I know that are like super excited for this game are people who've read the books. So I'm hoping it's good enough to have lasting popularity even among people who aren't familiar with the characters or the story.
Yep. I just hope that I enjoy it. Remake Champions of Norath, you cowards.
Well, that's going to be tougher.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I mean, I assume Sony still owns the license. That's EverQuest, so
I don't know who owns it. I know EverQuest is still a thing.
Yeah,
which is crazy. But,
so I mean, you could remake Champions of Norath. Those games were awesome. Both the Dark Alliance, Baldur's Gate games were awesome.
All right.
I do wish I mentioned to you before. I do wish that that $30 remake of Dark Alliance had included both games, because it seems like it probably should have for that price tag. But still, I'm glad it got remade, and it gives me hope that some other games from that era will get remade.
Yep. Fuck, I had it on the tip of my tongue and I just lost it. Something I didn't have written down. God damn it.
Of course.
It was something about another remake. Okay. Crytek has been teasing Crysis 2 and Crysis 3 remasters. So, maybe we'll get those. Anthony's favorite section. Let's dispel a couple of rumors here. First up, I don't know if y'all saw this, but we've been hearing for a while that Sony not only has the Final Fantasy VII Remake exclusivity window pushed, Final Fantasy 16 exclusive, but they have another Final Fantasy game that will be exclusive to PlayStation being announced at E3, and now we know what kind of game it is. If you don't know, do you want to guess what kind of game it is?
Wow, is it Battle Royale?
No, they already announced one of those, remember?
I was gonna say that didn't sound right when I said it, but I mean that was Uncharted like game.
Nope.
Oh, fuck if I know.
Ryan, you want to take a guess before I tell you what kind of game it is?
Nope, just tell me.
It's a Souls game.
No, of course.
According to the rumor, there is a Final Fantasy Souls type game. Although the rumor also suggests that it's more a Jedi Fallen Order Souls type game, so maybe not as punishing. But I guess we'll see. E3 is in 2 weeks. The other rumor that was fun, boy, this was fun Thursday. I don't know if y'all were in this discourse, but people were damn near expecting Nintendo to announce that Switch Pro Thursday night.
Yep.
Down to the point where we had an Amazon listing. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, there was an Amazon listing from Amazon China, I believe. And it was
I
called...
want to say one of them was from the UK too. But...
Yeah, there was another one from the UK. Basically confirming the name was like the Nintendo Switch Pro and the new Nintendo Switch Pro.
I mean, all it takes is someone to be like, we need a spot for the thing that we're going to sell, so let's put up something temporary. It's like saying that the screenshot titles, if you go on EB Games right now, or sorry, GameStop in the States, you know, there's a bunch of black covers with just text on them saying it's coming out at the end of the year, but those aren't necessarily coming out of the year, and they could be changed with, like, the name could be changed on them too. It's just placeholder stuff.
I think
so they can take orders as soon as it gets announced.
Sure, but I think the funniest thing that I saw out of this, you know what people were championing about the upgrades that supposedly leaked for the new Nintendo Switch Pro Ultimate Edition Breath of the Wild?
I don't know, Mother 3 and Metroid Prime Trilogy.
An Ethernet,
no weapon degradation.
an Ethernet port.
Oh,
You know that thing
yeah,
that's been in the original Xbox?
That would be a very Nintendo innovation.
Yeah. So apparently, according to the leaked description, it outputs at 4K. It has a bigger dock, less bezel around the screen, and an Ethernet port, and I guess some USB 3.0 plugs in it. I don't know about the power.
I wonder if it's got USB 3.0, if it'll accept external hard drives.
Maybe. That would be very smart.
That would genuinely be an upgrade, a significant upgrade.
But let's be fair, when we all have this conversation, ain't none of us getting one.
I might get one.
You're not going to get one.
Oh, you mean because I won't be able to?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
trust me.
With PS5, so
if there was one available, I would definitely click buy now. But I've watched people try to get Xboxes and PlayStations since launch. It was harder than it was before launch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would love to get a Series X, but they are impossible to find.
Yeah, like I literally see the links go up from like Wario and Justin, Killer Wolverine's been trying to get one, so I'll like forward him the link because he's not on Twitter, and within 30 seconds they're gone.
Yep.
It's ridiculous, man. It is absolutely ridiculous how hard these things are to get. So if Nintendo's going to release new Nintendo's, let's be fair, Nintendo Switch was selling out before the chip shortage.
Sure.
So imagine a new Switch during a chip shortage. Oh, maybe they should just not release it till 2023 when we can actually maybe get one. All right, there were a series of events this week. Dying Light 2 finally has a release date. It'll be out in December. They showed off some more of that game. At this point, I like the first Dying Light. I'll play the second Dying Light, but I'll just be excited about it when it gets here. That's kind of where I am with that.
I have little hope in it, knowing all this stuff, like how much crap happened behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think give me a second. I'm gonna butcher his name anyways, but I just wanted to see if I can
Chris
potentially
Avalon?
get the last name. No. Paul Blasiak. He's the composer. Like, he did the synthy
that
music
soundtrack
in
for
that
the first game was great.
Exactly. I don't think he's on board in this one, which was, in my opinion, a big mistake, because that was a big part of that first game. Is how good that soundtrack was.
I think Techland
bought
needs
it.
to. I think Techland needs to stop making zombie games because they seem to get tumultuous after the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you remember, almost exactly the same thing happened when they made Dead Island.
Yep, they got Riptide out, and I don't even know if that was fully them. And then Dead Island 2 never happened, and Dying Light was happening, and they split off from do Dying Light with Warner Brothers, and now it's Dying Light 2.
See, I heard
is
Dead
not
Island
coming
2
out.
is still coming out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dam Buster has been working on that for how many years now?
Who knows? Who
Yeah.
fucking knows at this point? Far Cry 6 also has a release date, October. I'm noticing a theme here that nobody's wanting to release in November. How long
Do
can
you
this-
have anything?
How
Yeah,
long?
I don't know what point you're getting at.
Halo? You really want to put out a first-person shooter in between, like around the same time as Halo?
I mean, going off of just past experience, I feel like you have very little to lose.
I don't know
doing
about
so.
that, because that's going to be, regardless of what happens with that game, and we'll talk about it in January, February after we've played it and whatever. That's going to be literally the conversation in November. Is
But
Halo. Good or bad, it will be the conversation.
I just don't. I don't see a third-party publisher going, I'm going to get out of the way of a game that has had some problems in the development range of things, and when they have a game that can be put out on 2 consoles.
I'm gonna tell you this: people
And
still
there's no
got-
money. There's no money being spent on Halo if you have Game Pass.
True, but there will be an influx of Game Pass subscriptions because of Halo.
But I'm saying your $60 purchase. It's not like you're competing for a $60 purchase in the same month.
No, but why would you buy another game when all you were going to play is Halo? Like, there are literally, as much as we talk about Halo being disappointing to us, there is a group of people that play online only that's the game, man. Like, that's what they've been waiting on. They will play Halo. That will be at the front of their minds. And it's not about how much it costs, because if you remember, Halo's multiplayer is going to be free.
Yeah.
You just don't want to release a game in a month where nobody's going to buy it because they're too busy playing something else. It's not a matter of getting their money.
I get it. I'm just saying, like, I feel like that. I don't think publishers are thinking that way. I'm sorry. It's just not the same brand it used to be. If this was Halo before Halo 5 came out, maybe, but even then it was starting to get a little bit like, okay, well.
We'll see.
Like, it has not had the same impact since Reach at all. Call of Duty, I get. Moving out of the way of Call of Duty, I understand.
Well, Call of Duty doesn't come out in November much anymore. It's usually the end of October, if I remember correctly. So yeah, Far Cry 6 in October. We also had the Dragon Quest stream where they announced 6 new games.
Yeah, I mean, mobile stuff. The remake of 3 looks really good. It looks like, what's
Octopath.
it called there? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that's what Square's gonna do now, is remake old 2D games in the Octopath engine.
Final Fantasy 6, please and thank you.
I
please
bet you
and
that
thank
happens.
Oh, I really hope it does. What else was announced in the Dragon
DQ12.
Quest?
DQ12.
Yeah, and then they're doing 10, but that's gonna still be Japanese only. And they're doing an offline version, and they won't translate it.
Don't you just
Uh,
disconnect your Ethernet cable? Isn't that Dragon Quest Online?
No, so
I
Dragon
know,
Quest
that's a
10 is
joke.
MMO, right? And then
Yeah.
now they're doing an offline version, which I would love to play because it's the only one that is not available.
Yeah, they announced a lot of stuff. That was the definition of a good presentation because it was only 35 minutes and they got through 6 games. That's pretty good. They also said Dragon Quest 12 will be more quote adult themed. Cue the Cinemax music.
I don't know how it can get more adult in terms of that series. I mean, it's gonna still look the same. That's kind of Dragon Quest's thing. So
Yeah, but now there'll be decapitations and Game of Thrones style sex scenes.
I feel like they won't go that far. But
I know that was a joke.
hey, no, I'm just saying, if the more adult, I don't know, it felt like 11 was a pretty adult story, but whatever.
Microsoft and Bethesda have confirmed their E3 presentation will occur on Sunday, June 13th, starting at 1 p.m., which really puts us in a bind, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think we record that day.
Yeah.
Because,
Live reactions.
I mean,
Come on,
I'm not going to sit here and watch that show while I'm recording this show because that's just bad radio.
7 hours. You say that, but how many people do that shit online?
Yeah, I get that they do
I
the
don't get
live
it.
reactions thing, but see, I'm not like a live reactions kind of dude. I like to just sit and take it in. I don't even go on Twitter during these presentations because people are just trying to be funny, and you're not funny.
I stopped watching them, and I would just read an article that's the summation, and if I find something that I really want to see, I go and watch it.
I like to watch them. I like that excitement of here's what's coming up next, and this trailer drops, and you're sitting there trying to guess in your head, what game is this? What game is this?
Yeah, but I've been burnt enough times where I just went, yeah, I'm done.
I don't know. I still like to do it. I think it's still fun. The other event that happened this week was all Anthony, all the time. Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary
Yay!
stream. They
I'm
announced
still
quite a bit of
9
stuff.
years old. Yay!
They're doing a remaster of Sonic Colors.
They've said there's gonna be other stuff, but they haven't said what the other stuff is. That game comes out this year.
Yeah, September.
What else are you doing? And why is it called Sonic Colors Ultimate? What's changing? What are you adding?
The only thing we should be excited about is that we can actually play this game and not on the Wii.
And yeah, I'm gonna buy it. You know that, but I would still like to know what's being changed about it. Also, secretly one of the best Sonic soundtracks in a long time.
Do you really care what's being changed about it? You're gonna buy it anyway.
Well, I care because I want to know if it's wait till it goes on sale sort of thing.
You won't. You'll just buy it at launch.
I don't know. I've done that with quite a few Sonic games actually. Is just leave it and pick it up on sale. So
they also
Sonic
announced
Mania was different.
Sonic. What's it called? Sonic Generations. The collection. What's it called?
No.
Generations was the
yeah.
game.
Yeah. No, that's not.
Well, this is a game. It's a collection of all the 16-bit Sonic games.
Sonic Classics. Yeah,
I feel like that was I feel like that was they already had a Sonic Classic collection.
Yeah, that was the DS one. Classics, I thought is what it was called. What is it called? Origins.
Origins. There you go.
Awful name. Yeah, with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and Sonic CD and Sonic 2 and 1. And now it'll be interesting to know if they have all the combinations of Sonic 3.
Can't you do that in the Sega Genesis collection?
No.
Can't you plug the cartridge into the other card? Well, there was a game that you could do that. What was that?
You have Sonic Classic Collection on the DS has all the versions, and the version on PC is Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but you don't have Sonic. So it's only the DS version, I think, has all of them emulated with Sonic 2 and with Knuckles and Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles being separate. I don't think that they've ever been emulated together outside of specifically Sonic and Knuckles and in Sonic 2 is the rare one, basically. Although at this point, Sonic 3 hasn't been reissued. The last time it was put out was when they did the 360 version, and then they put it out on PC as the Genesis Classics, which has been updated to be more like the version you get on PS4 and the Switch and stuff. But it's not included on the console releases because clearly the licensing of it was for PC only, so they can keep updating that version, but they can't sell it again. But they can sell the Xbox 360 version that plays on Xbox One just fine, because it's still technically a 360 game.
They also announced a new Sonic game coming in 2022 for the next-gen consoles.
Yeah, people are thinking it's open world. I somehow doubt that.
No
I
Sonic
can't imagine
Mania.
how that would go.
Well, it
Not
went
well,
Sonic
I would
06. Do you not remember Sonic 06? That was an open world game.
I try to forget Sonic 06.
Yeah, everybody should forget that game. Was there anything else out of the Sonic thing before I want to ask a question?
Sonic Fighters is coming to Lost Judgment.
Lost
Sorry.
Judgment.
As is in the screenshot or whatever where they show it. Apparently, Fighting Vipers is as well. Which is what I said to you when I found out that Sonic Fighters. I'm like, why would they do Fighting Vipers? That's the better game.
Fighters
so now,
Mix is what I want.
yeah, Fighters Mega Mix. We need Fighters Mega Mix in one of them. Preferably the Japanese version with Pepsi Man. But I will settle for the American version. I just want to play as the Daytona car and the AM2 logo.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't you want to play as that? So I have an interesting question that I saw this poll going around on Twitter, and I felt old because I didn't agree with the. What do you think is more popular? And I'm not asking you what's better. What
is this for both of us?
Yes. What is more? What
Okay.
do you think is more popular, Sonic or Zelda?
Zelda.
It's Zelda.
When you say popular, do you mean the main character is more widely recognized?
That would be
Or
my.
do you mean the games are more popular, meaning more people like the games?
It's not about like. It's about if you walk
More
up to
people
somebody.
recognize the main character.
Yes.
Well,
I would
then
say
it's
Sonic.
That's
Yeah.
what that's where my thing came up because like I get that Zelda is a better game series. It's more known, it's more revered among people like us especially. But I'm just thinking about brand awareness. If I showed a kid Link and Zelda, or I'm sorry, if I showed a kid Link and Sonic, more kids are going to know who Sonic is than Link.
Yes, especially since the movie just came out.
Yeah.
So I mean the brand awareness question is as simple as which one had a movie. Like
Which one has
Sonic got
TV
a
shows?
movie because Sonic got a movie and TV shows because he's a recognizable character. Although there was a Zelda cartoon as well, but I mean, really, honestly, it's as simple as the fact that there are still people who think Link's name is Zelda. So it's tough to fight the recognition battle there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if the question is which character is more recognizable, I think it's Sonic in a lock.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't understand. Like, I saw so many people like it was overwhelmingly Zelda, and I'm just like, I know where you're coming from, but I just feel like if you put those two characters in front of a bunch of people who don't play video games, 90% of them are going to recognize Sonic more than they're going to recognize Link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's at one point in time he was, I think, right behind Mario in terms of like it was Mickey Mouse, Mario, and then Sonic at one point for like recognizable characters.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a great. I mean, he's got a great character design, which always helps.
A list here I pulled up from top 10s who unfortunately don't credit what they're basing this off of. Their top 10 is Mario being number 1, Mickey Mouse, Batman, which I can understand because Mickey Mouse doesn't get the same push from Disney anymore. Batman, Pikachu, Goku, Sonic the Hedgehog, Darth Vader, SpongeBob, Luigi, Pac-Man.
I'm sorry that no, Spider-Man is in there somewhere.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just saying that's what they listed here. I have no idea what they based it on.
The fact that anybody could say that somebody else is more recognizable than fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah, he'd be up there too.
Spider-Man is like
There used to
Spider-Man
be-
and
there used
Batman
to
are
be-
the two most recognizable comic book characters ever.
There used to be an actual like list of this, and I cannot find it anymore.
Yeah, Sonic is always. I think Sonic is a top 10 like most recognizable characters of all time.
It also helps that unlike Nintendo, who for years didn't do merchandise at all, Sonic has had merchandise out forever.
Oh yeah,
You could buy socks and hats and shirts with the standard Sonic, the original Sonic design on it. So,
but I mean Mario's been that way for a long time too.
yeah, nowhere near as much as long as Sonic, because like Nintendo had that weird thing where they didn't want to do toys and they didn't want to do T-shirts that were official. They were really weird about that stuff. I remember wanting stuff as a kid, and they just did not sell it.
Motherfucker had the Mario Zelda cereal. Remember that shit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a. And they had their cartoon.
It's for breakfast now.
You know
that
what's
was
funny is
Rio. Wow.
that cereal was the same as the Batman '89 cereal. You remember that shit?
Yep, I do.
But was that really the song?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Look it up.
You know it's on the
it's just-
internet.
Well, I'm not gonna listen to it right now.
Hell yeah, just jam it out.
I'm gonna believe him on it. It sounded awful.
Well, yeah, most songs back in that day were pretty awful.
Most songs in this day are pretty awful.
That's true too.
What happened to good jingles?
I forgot to mention that I picked up an Apple TV and I played some games on my streaming device, which was very weird for me.
Yeah, how was that?
The system is really nice. Like if you have a Roku or something and then you go to this, you're just like, man, fuck Roku. Like this thing just destroys every other streaming device I've ever used. But the fact that I could sync my Xbox Series controller to it and then play, so with the system I got like 3 months of Apple Arcade. So I downloaded that new Sakaguchi game, the Mistwalker game. I downloaded What the Golf, because I've heard a lot of people talk about that, and I downloaded Oceanhorn 2.
Oh, Oceanhorn. Nice.
Oceanhorn 2 is essentially oh fuck.
Genshin Impact.
No, why can I not think of the name of the most popular Zelda game in 3D?
Ocarina of Time.
Yes. Why?
Okay.
Man, I'm getting old.
Apparently, wow.
But it is essentially Ocarina, but you can't invert up and down, so I can't play it. Fantasia is not Fantasian.
Asian.
That's cool. Like, I hope that comes to other things, because that's a really cool RPG set in a diorama.
I saw a screenshot of the credits that says it was like published by Apple, so I have a feeling you won't see it anywhere else.
Yeah, I know. It sucks because it's really cool. But yeah, that was an interesting thing that I got to do, was finally check that out. And it runs really well. Looks really good.
Did you play What the Golf?
I did. That game is cool, man.
Right? It's fun. It's dumb. I thought that game was going to be just a joke, and then it gets hard. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, like, I immediately knew it was for me when I got to, like, shoot the house at the hole.
Well,
was like,
is that
okay.
the one? Is that the one where you have to put everything into the moving van?
No. This is one of the first,
Oh.
like, 5 levels, because it starts you off with the ball. You shoot the ball, good to go. Then you shoot the raccoons with the exploding barrels. And then, like, you shoot the guy.
Yep.
And then
he's
you
lining
shoot
up
the
to fight
house.
or whatever.
Like, okay, this game, I'm in.
There's one where you have to shoot all the furniture into a moving van,
Oh,
and
nice.
the moving van takes off, right? And then you start golfing the house to follow the moving van.
Yeah, that game
Ah.
is cool, and it works really well with a controller. So
I was playing it with mouse support because it's on PC as well.
yeah.
So
I'll play around with that for 3 months, for free. I don't think I'll subscribe to Apple Arcade, but it'd be a nice little 3-month thing.
when you mentioned that, I forgot I played a little bit, and by that I mean I started it up near on the phone.
Oh yeah, that came out.
I'm gonna
Didn't
have
it?
to. I'm gonna have to see if it has controller support because I really hate touching the screen.
Is it free or is it?
Yeah, it's a free to play game, so there's gotcha mechanics somewhere.
I'll have to see if it's on Apple TV because if we could play it with a controller, that might be cool. The last event that happened this week was the Sony State of Play, which might be their E3. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because they don't actually go to E3, so they did like a 15 to 20 minute State of Play about Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, and that game looks so freaking awesome.
Yeah, visually,
wait.
visually that game is remarkable. It just truly looks amazing. I don't know what else to say about it other than I can't wait to play it. I did watch the. I didn't watch it when it streamed. I waited until after because I was actually busy. I loaded it up on my TV in 4K. And just, oof. I cannot wait to see that game and play that game. I mean, I don't. Do you think it's out this year?
I think yes, there's a chance it's out this year.
Okay. I'm just curious
They did
because
not. They didn't specify, but I do think so.
so like Ratchet is the last game that I know that Sony is putting out, and then like Horizon was the only because God of War is not this year. No way. I mean,
Say that one more time.
God of War is not this year.
No, not this year. No.
I mean, we haven't even seen that game.
Right.
But everything else is not this year. So like, what would Sony have for the fall? It's got to be Horizon.
It's got to be Horizon. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be Horizon. We also, I don't think it's this year, but one thing that I keep waiting for them to say more about is the next Spider-Man game.
Yeah, I think that's 2023.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that because I don't know about that.
Miles Morales just came out, and Ratchet
Yeah,
is
but
coming out in like.
Yeah, it's not like they're making a brand new engine. They've already got the engine up and running on PS5 for Miles Morales. So
I mean, I understand that, but during pandemic, I just don't think
I
we
don't know.
see it till 2023.
I'm going to go on record and say I think it's next year.
Hey, if it is, I will play it. I think their big game next year is going to be God of War, and I think Spider-Man's the year after.
I mean, they put out the original Spider-Man and God of War in the same year.
Yeah, but it's two different teams, and the team that did Spider-Man just released two brand new games.
I've said before that I think it's two different teams that make Ratchet and Spider-Man, but
I mean, it may be. I also saw, because of that conference call, I guess Uncharted is coming to the PC. Uncharted 4. Which just continues to stoke the flames of when is Bloodborne coming to the PC.
I'm just thinking more of stokes the flames of fanboys that can't get over the fact that their games might go somewhere else. Like,
Dude, I can't.
somehow ruins their experience.
I can't deal with the fanboys anymore because I don't know if you saw the discourse about Aloy's face.
No,
Oh my.
I didn't wade into that fucking sewage dump of conversation.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people out there that are like, "Oh my gosh, she looks so ugly. They need to stop making women in their games ugly." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a reason why there's a game on the PS4 store about hentai, and just y'all need to stop. Something wrong with you.
Something wrong with you.
There's something wrong with those.
We're not sponsored, but go to adamandeve.com, order yourself a sex doll, and then shut the fuck up offline. Thanks. Like,
People are out
it's
there
weird. It's
mocking
weird.
up other faces for her. Like, why?
Reminds me of that really creepy mod, the cinematic mod for Half-Life 2. Where, like, Alex has totally been redesigned, and there's a bunch of different outfits, and you're just like, you you made this game look better for the most part, and then you decided this. Like, what happened?
I don't. Gamers are fucking horny, and I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
I don't like. I don't know if it's because I'm old. I don't know if it's because I just don't understand people. Like, I don't understand the plastic box wars. I don't understand the zooming in on screenshots and going, look at this low resolution texture. I don't understand the, oh my god, you're making this character ugly. Like,
And so I missed the first part of that conversation, Ken. Who are people saying they made ugly?
Aloy.
Oh, no, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the it started with that she gained weight. Just like, what?
Just so ridiculous.
This man with neck beard who sweats and picks Doritos out of his rolls.
If I want to play as a female character, she should be proportioned like you know, the hentai games.
Assholes like that are how we get the third birthday. Is that what we want?
Oh no.
More of the third birthday.
Nobody wants the third birthday. I can't.
There's a poll, everybody.
I don't know which I hate worse, the creepy uncle dudes or the fanboys. Like, they're both just
Creepy uncle dudes, because that boils over more into real life, I'm sure.
I don't know. Like, I think one of my favorite, and like the person, one of my favorite things I saw a response to when people are out there arguing about console wars is like somebody asked them, they're like, can you take what you just said and go say that to your significant other or to your mother?
Right.
Like, how would they respond to what you just said?
That's my point. Like, that's not going to fly in the real world, because everybody will just look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Why are
What's
you
wrong with you?
What are you spending so much energy talking about a corporation that doesn't give two shits about you? Like, I just can't, man. I don't
fully understand being like, I have a preference, I like this for that.
Yes, absolutely.
You
If
know,
you
I work with a
prefer,
guy
that's fine.
who is counting pixels, and it's like, yeah, man, I get it at one point or another, but it's like, sometimes I feel like he's justifying the purchase to himself when he's talking to me. I'm like, all right, man, I don't care. I'm not buying one anytime soon.
Yeah, I just.
But
even at that, like, I don't know why you spend so much effort doing that.
I mean, no offense, Ken, but you come on here and you're like, wow, this device makes my Switch look better. It's like, I don't give a shit. Not what you're saying, but it's like, I don't care about making my Switch look better. I'm fine with it as is type of thing. And it's like, we all have a bit of it. It's just these people take it to a level. I mean, look at how many times I've talked about Wonder Boy. Most people, I have a feeling, glaze over, like, just, oh, I don't give a shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but the difference, though, what I'm referring to is that, Anthony, when I said that, I didn't harp on you for 6 months that you needed to buy the thing to make your Switch look better.
Right. And
I just told you,
because that thing makes your Switch look better. The Switch is the best, and everything else sucks. And I can't believe anybody would play anything other than the Switch.
Yeah,
I'm just making a distinction, though, of like where I sit on the. I get it to an extent, and then it goes into a level of like what Ryan just said. Like,
yeah. You got a preference. That's cool. Like, none of us even fight about it on the show here. Ryan plays everything on PlayStation. When he says I'm playing it on PlayStation, I don't go, well, Ryan, you know. It's
the
better.
Resolution is 15.5% better on. I don't care.
The Xbox runs it at 60 frames a second, whereas the PS5 only runs it at 58.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you even play that, Ryan?
How do you? It's unplayable garbage. Is what it is.
Meanwhile, I'm over here eating glue and being like, I like the Switch a lot. It's my favorite.
He's like, my PlayStation Classic plays everything really well.
Except for Tekken, it doesn't run in the right hertz, Ryan. You're not allowed to enjoy it if it doesn't run in the proper hertz.
This conversation hurts.
It does. It hurts me so bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to see two people actually go to fist throwing, like two adults about consoles.
They would
Ain't
never.
nobody that's having this argument ever thrown fists with anybody ever in their entire life.
That's kind of why I kind of want to watch it.
That would be fun to
It's
watch.
a disaster.
Friday night grifter fights. Oh shit! All right, we got some emails. We'll read some emails.
Can I go through a couple?
Oh, go ahead.
like,
Then I'll
news
get
things?
the emails.
Knockout City will allow new players to try the game for free until level 25.
It's also on Game Pass, by the way.
Yep, my son and his friends have been playing the crap out of that.
X People Can Fly devs form new studio.
Didn't they
Grubby
not finish the
Entertainment.
last game they worked on? Oh, sorry.
Well, that's just it. Like, I'm like, who's leaving that studio? You haven't done anything in years.
That's not
What
true.
was the last game they worked on?
They just released
Uh,
Outriders.
What?
Oh god, yeah,
Oh,
Outriders.
Outriders?
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right.
But like all the people that like when you think people can fly, they're gone.
Right. Over
So
there,
I just
fucking
found-
still grifting on Outriders. You son of a bitch.
CD Projekt Red, one of the narrative designer has left CD Projekt,
Also,
Red.
there's a new game director for
and
Cyberpunk.
that was the second part of it.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. My bad.
Speaking of Sonic, I didn't even bring it up. Roger Craig Smith, who wasn't voicing Sonic earlier this year, he like retired from doing Sonic, is back as Sonic again. So I have no idea what happened there.
I mean, his
But
wait. His retirement, it had to go fast.
That's
I
pretty
think that
good.
just means that he has to die, Ken.
No,
a
it
retirement word.
ended fast. It had to go fast.
Oh,
His retirement ended fast. God damn, well, don't ruin my fucking jokes.
you're welcome. It's just weird that he's back already. I know that I wanted to say,
They must have offered him a good chili dog.
yeah, because the guy from Sonic Adventure was also looking at getting back to the Sonic voice. Oh my god, I forgot his name. Anyways,
When's Jaleel White gonna
I
take
hate
over?
Jaleel White as Sonic.
Oh,
I
you
hate
are.
that voice.
You go away.
Hey, man.
That's no good. Like I get it. Fucking
All I can think of now is the Key and Peele sketch about Jaleel White.
he's just not.
I don't know that I've seen that one.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
He's
I-
he's fine. I just didn't like him as Sonic. Anyway, sorry,
I was
Ryan.
I was just gonna say I was sharing the Key and Peele sketch with Mr. T with a friend of mine the other day. Have you seen that one?
Oh, is that later seasons? I don't think I've seen that one.
No, it's the one where it's like it's set like the old PSAs from the late '80s and early '90s, and there's the two kids on the playground, and the one kid says to the other one, well, they're not kids, but the one kid says to the other one, "Oh yeah, well your hair looks dumb." And
Oh,
Mr. T comes
yeah,
out of nowhere.
yeah.
Don't let anybody make fun of you for your hair. that, and he cries at the end.
Oh, shit.
That one's one of my favorites of theirs.
Yeah, I haven't finished it. Like I started watching it because it's on Paramount Plus, and I started watching it. And like, there's some. I love the street interpreter for Barack Obama.
Yeah, that one's good. The noise, the one with noise, where they're doing the breakdancing on the street.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen that
He keeps
one.
going noise.
Noise. Noise.
That one's really good. The my favorite is the Drax them sklounced with the Terrys on the airplane.
Oh yeah. I think
That one's really good.
honestly, I think my favorite one is where everybody's name is a fart.
You know, those guys are hilarious, man.
This is my wife.
It's funny that it's Peele, right? Yeah, Jordan Peele went off to be a horror director of all things,
Right.
Yeah.
and a very good one at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get Out and Us are both very
Us,
good
yeah.
movies.
And then
They
he did the
did
Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Yep, he did.
I watched a couple
He did
episodes
a,
of Twilight Zone. It's okay.
The Key and Peele did a really when they were both on Saturday Night Live. They did a no when Keegan Michael Key was on Saturday Night Live. He did a skit with Kenan Thompson where they were playing security at the Muppet Show. And they beat the crap out of the two old guys heckling from the balcony.
Waldorf and
Yeah, whatever the other one's name is.
those guys are very funny. Anyway, any other news before I do an
yes.
email?
The Randy Pitchford news?
Oh yeah, I
We
forgot
just
about
dropped
that.
that on the.
He just throws that out on Twitter, obviously to piss somebody off.
Yeah, I'll read the tweet verbatim. Good news or bad news first? Good news. An update for Borderlands 3 has been prepared for release that includes full cross-play support across all platforms. Bad news. For certification, we have been required by the publisher to remove cross-play support for PlayStation consoles.
Boy,
Wow.
that comes out right after Sony is outed for telling publishers that they have to pay.
Now, I don't know if that ever went into effect, technically.
Yeah, there's a flowchart of it. There's a spreadsheet
I
of
thought
how
it was
much each company had to pay.
Oh, see, I only ever saw the, first piece of the document or whatever, or the tweet or whatever it was that said that, but I didn't know it was actually put into effect. I thought it was a thing that was in discussion.
No. There's a spreadsheet out there that shows like how much Rocket League paid and how much Fortnite paid, and yeah, because it's based on it was a formula based on like how much of our sales would go to Xbox or PC, and then you have to pay that percentage or whatever because we're losing customers or something.
So it sounds like 2K didn't want to.
Yeah, 2K was like, "Nah, we're not paying."
We're not paying that, which funny knowing that company has a ton of money.
Oh, sure, but it's not right to make them pay to enable
Correct.
the feature.
I'm just saying, like, it's one of those weird things where it's like I'm surprised 2K wouldn't be fighting that more if that was the case.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Sony needs to not do that. That's a shitty practice. I get it. It's a business practice and whatever.
the shitty business practice.
But it just
Ryan, what's the orphan grinding machine?
Yeah.
That's what it's a shitty business practice.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not what it's based off of, but that's the first thing I thought of. It's like, yeah, it's just business. Yeah, so is grinding orphans.
Yep.
Doesn't mean it's good.
Local school raises $20,000 to stop orphan grinding machine. You haven't seen that tweet, Ken?
No, I have not seen that
Alright,
tweet.
I'll have to see if I can find it.
All right.
I'm making you search for that, Ryan. No, that's it, Ken.
All right. First email we got comes from Rick. He says, "Hey guys, epic food discussion last week. It inspired me to look up the nutrition facts on the triple stacker at Wendy's. Basically, the results just say, don't eat this." Yes, you should not eat that. It will destroy you. Anyway, I finally scored a Series X, and we'll be setting it up soon. Found it on Walmart through a third party. It just said nationwide distributor for about double the sticker price. But thought, worth it to me to have it now. Your prediction of 2023 availability kind of made me decide I need one now, which brings me to my question. By the way, I apologize for making you spend $1,000 on a video game console. Do you have any tips for settings and stuff? I heard you talking about turning certain things off for certain games like HDR. Do you tweak settings for certain games? Did you turn anything on or off that you thought made your overall experience better? Also, which games should I be excited about coming out in 2021? I guess not Cyberpunk. I'm into RE8 now on Xbox One, which is the only game I thought, man, this will look great on the Series X. Also, am I to understand that any game I bought on Xbox One that has a Series X version will be smart delivered to my new Series X? Do I have to go in and re-download my stuff in Series X versions? I soon hope to have an LG OLED to really kick the tires on the new box. Last question, how do you feel about mounting TVs versus keeping them on a stand? Thanks, y'all. Love the show. More Gambas, please, and keep up the great work. Bacaw. To go back to the first question as far as settings go, it really depends on your TV. If you're not running the LG OLED, I suggest you either choose between 120 frames a second and VRR, try not to run both of those if you're not running the OLED because they just seem to fight with each other on other TVs. As far as HDR in games in general, I think you're fine leaving that on for every game. There were games in the past that would run into issues like Nier Automata looked a little washed out in HDR, so I might turn it off for that game. But other than that, it's pretty fine. Games to look forward to in 2021. I mean, if you're looking for Xbox exclusives, I don't really have anything. I mean, just get Game Pass. Because if anything does come out, like Psychonauts will be out, and you can play that for free. Flight Simulator, you'll be able to play that for free. Halo, you'll be able to play that for free. Just get Game Pass.
And if you didn't upgrade from like an Xbox One X and you upgrade from just a standard Xbox One or an Xbox One S, a bunch of those old Xbox games have a bunch of upgrades. And through some of the 360 ones, like frame rate wise and scaling into 4K and everything.
Yeah, there was a bunch of games upgraded, like the Splinter Cell series.
The original Assassin's Creed, look like the PC version on like high settings now.
Yep, and every original Xbox game runs at 4K native now, which is really nice. As far as smart delivery, you don't have to do anything. In fact, your system will pop up a message that says, "Hey, this needs an upgrade to the Series X version." Just download if there is anything to download. It'll do it automatically. Just make sure you put it on the internal. Because if you don't, you won't be able to play it. Last question, and I'll open this to everybody. Mounting a TV versus leaving it on a stand. How do you feel?
I have... Hold on. 5 televisions in my house. And 2 of them are mounted. And 3 of them are on a stand.
Did you mount them yourself, or did you pay the town?
I did, yeah. I did. And then obviously my projection screen and stuff is mounted, and my projector is mounted. But, yeah, I mounted the TVs myself. I don't have an issue doing stuff like that. It's not that hard.
No, as long as you can find the studs, it's not hard to mount a TV.
Well, that's why I have a stud finder.
I mean, does it work when you put it up to your chest?
It does.
Okay,
yep.
Then it's working properly.
You can't be a dad without having a stud finder that you put up to your chest and say, "Well, seems to be working." It just comes with the territory.
Yeah, but
you'd be at the hospital when you walk out.
You'd be surprised how many geeks don't know what a stud finder is or how to use it. That's why I asked. I didn't know how to use one until about 5 or 6 years ago, to be honest with you.
I'm a pretty, generally speaking, handy guy, so I usually do most home repair and stuff by myself when I can.
I've had to become one. You have to become one when you buy a house, otherwise you're spending a fucking fortune.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm the guy now that like I got excited at Christmas because I got a new fucking like 150-piece tool set, you know?
Yep.
Like that's the shit I get excited for now. Like I open it up, I'm like, wow, this is really pretty, you know? Yeah. That's the things I get excited about now. Is like a really nice drill. Or a circular saw or something like that. It's like, man, this is some nice shit. I have a mount set up, but I have not used it. I've just been sticking to the stands. I don't have a problem either way. I don't have a preference. The only thing I don't like about mounting is that anytime I have to switch cables or something, it can be kind of a pain in the ass. Depending on how flush you set it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but no.
I mean, it also depends on the television at that point, because like there's a Sony one in this house that there's like maybe one HDMI port that's easy access, and the rest of them are right behind the screen in the center of the television. So good luck, because it actually sits in like an indent too, so it's not like you can just reach behind and pull the cables out.
Yeah, the TV thing, like. If you're making a TV now that's meant to be mounted on the wall, don't put an HDMI port facing the wall.
On the back.
No, that's dumb.
Oh God, that too, yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the Samsungs that I have, I have a TCL, 3 Samsungs, and an LG, technically I have two LGs, but the other one's so old it's just sitting in a storage room. Um, the and I think actually all of them have the cables facing sideways,
Yeah,
which helps for sure.
I have a TCL in my son's room. We have the Vizio in the living room. I got the LG in my office, and the LG has one HDMI plug that faces the wall. And I'm just like,
Yeah, see, that's
what?
just
That's when you got to
it
buy one
doesn't
of
make
those
any sense.
L-shaped adapters that don't support HDMI 2.1 or something, and
Yep.
fuck that. So the LG is on a stand on my entertainment center. It is not mounted on the wall specifically for that reason, that it does not have all four HDMI ports on the side. So, yeah, it's funny that you mentioned you have an LG in storage because I have two Vizios in my garage.
Yep. Yeah, the LG that we had, it's so old that and actually the LG that we have downstairs as well, I've got an LG in the guest room downstairs that I need to get a Fire Stick or a Roku or something for, because it's 4K, but it's pre-HDR 4K.
Oh God.
And so none of the streaming services work on it anymore. You try to access it and it straight up comes up and says the television's too old to run this software.
Oh my God.
But that was the same way. We had the one LG that we've got upstairs in our bedroom for a long time, and we got tired of not being able to use it for any of the streaming stuff. So we bought a Samsung to replace it.
Yep.
So we've only got one TV in the house right now that's not 4K, and it's my son's that's upstairs in the loft. It's a 1080p set, and it sucks. I hate it. It was a Samsung that we bought for like $180, and I hate it.
Yeah.
So it'll eventually get replaced.
The only thing 1080p in my house are my computer monitors.
Yeah.
I find it funny.
Oh man, I got so many computer monitors in this house. It's ridiculous.
My wife yells at me all the time about how many computer monitors I have stashed around this house.
When the company I was working for went out of business, they sold all the tech super cheap, and they just gave away computer monitors. So I think I have, I don't know, 7 or something like that. Just 22-inch. I've got two 27s and probably 5 22-inch.
Holy
monitors.
shit! I've only got 19-inch monitors. I've been thinking about upgrading to a bigger monitor for my PC.
Well, you need a monitor. You let me know.
I might be coming to you like, hey, I could use a monitor. Oh shit! What were you gonna say, Anthony? Sorry, you got cut off.
Going back to the whole I eating glue and playing the Switch. I have a TV. It's 4K. It was because I needed a bigger TV than my 24-inch 1080p that I've been playing on.
What kind of TV did you buy? I don't think we ever talked about what kind of TV you bought.
Who gives a shit?
I give a shit. This my kind of shit. I like to hear about it.
It's an RCA. It's got a Roku built in. It's 4K.
We got HDR.
Fuck if I know.
What do you mean you don't know?
It can. I was playing on a 24-inch television, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm done squinting at this small screen."
I'm gonna be real.
At a big screen.
I'm gonna be real honest with you, Anthony, and I don't know why, but I don't know if you know this or not. But the last time I went and looked at TVs in a store, I don't think I saw an RCA.
No.
RCA is kind of like there's one Panasonic model that I saw last time I went to the store, but I didn't see any RCAs.
Same.
Shit. Where'd you buy it at?
Our equivalent of Radio Shack.
Oh, maybe it's just a Radio Shack brand now. I don't know.
Or maybe RCA is just a thing in Canada.
I remember RCA. We used to have them down here when we had two TVs, but I don't think they make 4K TVs down here. Like the low brand market's been bought up by fucking Hisense and TCL now.
Yep.
So I don't know.
I want to say it is a 50-inch smart, full HD. See, this one's 1080p. Mine is 4K. God damn it. Yeah, I have no idea.
I know, like the mystery of Anthony's TV. I want to know
Give me
if
a
his
fucking
TV
minute.
supports fucking HDR or not, because you're running a TV that don't support HDR in 2021. What are you even doing?
What are you doing?
Like, you can buy one of those for like $300. Like a good one. Like, TCLs are a good ass TV and they ain't
They
expensive.
are good TVs. Yeah.
Hey, you seem to forget that I live in Canada, so everything's more expensive. You're like, well, I can just go down to the TV store and buy one for $300. It's not the fucking case here, bud.
Wait. Did someone from the country that legitimately has a store called the Beer Store just make fun of Americans for having a TV store?
You still
We
looking
don't have
for-
we don't have a lot of retail options anymore, to be completely honest. It's like Best Buy, The Source, Walmart, you're done.
How do you not just go to Best Buy and get like a cheap TCL 4K HDR TV?
Because they're not cheap here, Ken. They're not cheap. I bought a cheap TV. Now let me fucking stop asking me goddamn questions. I have to keep walking back. You want to know what the fuck my TV is? I'm trying to figure it out. God damn it.
This is my favorite conversation, is talking about Anthony's
Oh,
TV.
shit.
My favorite. Alright, you keep looking. I'm going to read the next email. This one comes from Antonio. He says, been playing through Mass Effect Trilogy all week. Currently in Mass Effect 2, and I can't get over how obsessed I still am with it. So much so
That's
that,
the best one.
yeah, so much so that it felt like a chore playing through the first one for the second time ever. On a non-gaming related note, I do not understand how these food delivery services are sustainable. I got a coupon in my email from Uber Eats for 15 off a $20 order. I selected a burrito, 3 tacos, and a drink from Chipotle, and the order before the coupon applied came to $21. Once the coupon was applied and taxes and fees were tacked on, it came out to $17 frickin' dollars.
Yep.
I swear the only thing propping these companies up are their stock investors.
No, it's about. It's also about just getting you in the ecosystem.
Yes, I order from Grubhub, and they have a subscription service where you can pay like $10 a month and you get free delivery. Yep. Which is huge because delivery is like $6, and we order from there at least 2, maybe 3 times a week during the pandemic. So the $10 a month fee was totally worth it.
Yeah, and it's about making delivery like that seem like something that you would use.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have to use it a couple times, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I see how this works. And then you're more likely to be in the ecosystem and do stuff full price. That's why they do the big coupons and stuff.
Yep. Fuck, we ordered Cold Stone Creamery one night.
Oh, yeah? How'd that go delivery? That seems like it would be a little touchy.
It was actually really good. Like, the ice cream came. It wasn't like dripping all over the place, and got here relatively quick.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, fucking, I got fucking monster Reese cup fucking sundae. It was delicious.
I do love some Cold Stone Creamery.
Yeah, it was real good. Real good. All right, we got the answer. Anthony's TV. The RCA 50-inch Roku
4K Ultra HD TV RTR U5028.
Oh my god, this is $500?
Yeah.
And look, right there, high dynamic range. Yes.
Well, fucker, I just brought up the website. I can read it myself.
So this is Walmart Canada. So I need to check on a TCL TV. What's TCL TV cost in Canada? 50 inches.
I don't know. Do you guys have TCL in Canada?
Yeah,
Do they distribute there?
I'm on the website right now.
Okay.
I'm looking at TCLs in Canada. What size did you get, Anthony?
I got a 50-inch. I'm looking at one here. It's $528.
Oh my god, but it's a QLED. It's totally worth it for a QLED.
But that wasn't available for that price when I bought my fucking television, Ken.
4 inputs, HDR. Yeah, this is not. What model is this? Is this the 5? Yeah, the 5 series. Yeah,
Ken's
QLED.
about to buy that TV.
Ken's just sitting in fucking televisions in his house, and I don't give enough of a fuck, so I just bought a television because it was on sale. I think I may have even got it for $400, but fucking Ken's just like, how dare you?
It's too bad he don't live near me, because like I said, I got 2 fucking
Dare you?
Vizio fucking 4K TVs laying out in the garage. I just shove in the back of your car.
and I would take both of them because I'm a hoarder.
That's fine. It'd be free.
I
It'd be
have
better than the one you
I
got.
have two tube televisions here, and then 2 standard monitors.
Yeah, but
just
that's because you
small
play
for
retro
one.
games. You would totally.
Yeah, that's true.
You would have those anyway.
But
All
it's
right.
just like, fuck if I know. Again, I worked the Dynex television that I have.
Whoa.
That is my computer monitor. Yep, is 1080p, 24 inches, and I have had it for over a decade and still have not gotten rid of it.
You know what? Maybe next time when you go to buy TV, maybe you should just ask one of us to help you.
No, because then I have to have this fucking conversation.
But what's wrong with this conversation? We want to get you the best
It
thing
sucks.
at the
I
best
hate
price.
this. Fucking-
I'd come to you if I had a question about Monster Boy.
Ken is or Anthony is understanding now what it's like to be a fanboy and justify your purchase.
Good lord.
Are you an RCA
There's
fanboy?
nothing wrong with an RCA television, Ken. RCA's got all these specs.
I'm not even defending. I purchased it, and somehow I've slighted Ken. Sorry, I didn't
Ken's
come.
insulted.
I'm sorry, I didn't come and ask for your advice. Oh, great one, please, sir. What TV should I buy? It's Black Friday, and I have so much time on my hands to find out.
Oh, shit. Alright, last part of his email says, and on one last note, Ford unveiled
Fucking
their
Digital Foundry over here. God damn it.
Ford unveiled their all-electric F-150 Lightning, and that truck is far more relevant than the Cybertruck, especially when you know that the F-150 has been the best-selling vehicle every year for the... Is this a Ford commercial?
Real Ford tough. I'm waiting for Alan Jackson to kick in here in a second.
Every year for the past 40 years. I've always loved trucks but could never afford one. But the way things have been rolling for me, it seems like that might change. Here's to hoping.
Gonna buy me a Ford truck and cruise it up and down the road.
I'd say if I end up winning the $1 million for vaccinating,
Vax-a-million.
I'm gonna
Yep.
buy a truck.
And then you
Are
can
ya?
drive
Yep.
up a new television, because apparently I've slighted you so
Anthony,
badly.
I'm gonna tell you right now here on the show, if I win the $1 million, I'm gonna buy you an LG OLED and ship it to your house.
All right.
There are people out there who probably have no idea what we're talking about. So Ohio, the state in which we live, for our international listeners, is doing a thing where they are randomly choosing 5 Ohio residents from the pool of people who have been vaccinated, because this is where we're at in America. They have to
Capitalism.
bribe people to get vaccinated. They're picking 5 random Ohioans who've been vaccinated and they're giving them $1 million. And they're picking 5 random students who have been vaccinated and giving them college scholarships.
Yep.
To Ohio universities within the state of Ohio. State universities in the state of Ohio. I got to
that
be
makes
careful. I
sense.
can't say Ohio State University.
That does make sense. It would be weird if they're like, here's a bunny for a scholarship. All right, peace. I'm on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Hey, it's better than what we're doing over here, which is if our numbers don't drop, everybody's gonna be locked in for another fucking month.
Yeah,
Because
well, I mean,
our numbers have
I
not
think it's
dropped and we've
increased.
been locked down.
I think it's increased vaccinations in the state by like 45% or something like that. It's been so successful, actually, that Maryland and New York are going to do it now.
Yeah. I mean, people called him crazy when he said it, and look at what happened.
Yeah.
I knew it was a smart idea when I heard it.
I mean, I got
actually. was like,
vaccinated.
yeah, that's
I got vaccinated, but you goddamn right I signed up on that website, because if I can win, I'll
Yeah.
fucking win it. I don't care.
I mean,
Same.
I would do
Yeah,
the
I was
same.
already vaccinated, but I'm like, you know what? Might as well take my shot.
Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, baby.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
It is kind of weird to be like, maybe you should drop that stick. It's like the equivalent of asking someone to drop a stick of live dynamite. Like the fuse is counting down, and you're like, man, you should drop it. And they're like, nah, I don't trust you enough. What if I handed you a potential chance of getting $1 million? Like, all right,
All
your
right,
own safety, man.
Hey,
Go get the fucking shot.
I don't know if you know this about people in Ohio, but we love our lottery.
We do love
I mean,
lottery.
it's just it's everywhere. It's up here too. It's like, you go get a shot. Nah, it might be dangerous. Like, what? type of stupid excuse
Y'all
is
eat
that?
a McRib, but you won't get the vaccine.
Yeah, y'all don't know
No,
what's
no.
in a McRib. I don't know why you're worried about
Yeah,
what's in a fucking vaccine.
I'm worried about getting the vaccine because I don't want to become sick. I mean, the other option is you become sick, so I don't see how. People are annoying.
All right, we got Twitter. Rufus tweets in and says, "In my lifetime, I'm 52, counting every gaming console, handheld I have bought, and every game I remember buying, I can confidently say, and with a bit of shame, say I've spent almost $2 million. How much do you think you guys have spent?"
Oh man, I don't even want to think about that. Yeah, I don't even want to think about it.
When I first heard that number, $2 million, I was like, God damn, have I spent that
Yeah.
much?
Yeah, mine's not that close. Mine maybe max 300 grand.
I mean,
Max overall my lifetime, like that's where
Yeah.
I'd say I'd be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
It's hard. My buying. What's funny is my purchasing of games is inversely proportionate to the amount of money that I make. So as my income has increased over the years, I buy less games than I used to, which is weird because I have less time. So mine's definitely certainly not that high. I couldn't give a guess as to what it is though.
yeah, I don't know. I'd have to do some math, and on top of that, would the math include, like, I bought like 1 billion PlayStation 2 games, but I also traded them in to buy new ones.
yeah,
Right.
that's
like-
the other part
Same.
of it that I'm trying to.
Like, how would that work? Does it still count as $50 if I traded in another one and got like 25 off?
I'm thinking I went too high. Probably actually a third of that because I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, I think I did the math stupid, which isn't a surprise for me.
I'm now
yeah, it's probably
curious.
close to 100 grand is probably more accurate.
I'm
'cause,
kind of
like,
curious
300 's
now,
too
like,
high.
if you added up, because I've bought every console since the NES. Like, if you added all those up, how much would that be? Like, if you bought them at launch time.
At launch, I don't know. That's a good question. That's good exercise.
I mean, that's probably not even like 10 grand, right?
Consoles?
Yeah.
Like, consoles
I mean,
are just a
you figure
one-time.
$500 a piece.
Yeah, but they
Um,
weren't $500
it's
a
20.
piece.
Yeah.
$500 didn't appear until PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Because if you remember before that, Dreamcast was $199, Nintendo 64 was $149, and that's at launch, baby.
Yeah.
PS1 was $299 at launch. So, I don't know. That's an interesting thing, and $2 million. Wow. There's so many responses to his tweet. I think that's all of our other tweets. Real Shogun Beat says the biggest surprise any company can give us is a release date. Dying Light 2 looks good, and it's 2021. Fingers crossed for Battlefield 6. Does anyone really care about the PS5 games on PC? No. I just hope they are $60, because 60 FPS should be a given. I mean, they'll be 60 frames per second if your PC can handle it. I know I was asking Drew the other day if he wanted to cover Days Gone on the PC, and his PC can't even run it, and his PC is only 3 years old. So, I mean, Dying Light 2, given a release date of December, is really that energy of like, fuck you, we're delaying until February kind of motion.
That game's it's one of those I don't expect it to. Not only do I not expect it to be very good at this point, I will be pleasantly surprised if it is type of thing. I don't see that game coming out. I could see a totally different issue stopping it from releasing. So then they end up doing more DLC for Dying Light 1's multiplayer.
I mean, they're still doing DLC for Dying Light 1.
I know. That's but I swear it's been because like they need something out there to keep the brand alive.
It just got FPS boost on the Series X.
Yeah.
That made me reinstall it. I mean, that's something, right? And then I started playing that DLC that I never played.
The following.
Yeah, because I finished the main game, but I never did play the DLC, which is funny because they give you a Doom buggy.
Driving cars.
Yeah.
It's a very different game.
Yeah. I don't know. That's it though. That's the only two tweets. The other tweets that we have are replies to the guy spending $2 million. One said I would have had a nice BMW.
With that much money, you don't settle on a BMW.
But it says here, dude, I would have had a house. I seriously had a stomach ache after calculating what I spent.
Yeah, I don't think mine's definitely not that high. In hindsight, it's like, no, I racked up my credit card debt really bad at one point, but that is impossible to get to 300,000 over.
$2 million. Like, I sit around sometimes and I think about
lot.
like how long would it take me to, like, if you didn't pay bills or anything, how long would it take you to accumulate $2 million?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It is a lot of money.
I am not a rich man. I do good, but I'm not a rich man. And $2 million would still take me a long time to come up with.
Yeah.
Whew. Wow. $2 million. Anyway, if you want to send us tweets, it's weird on a week where we have as many emails as we do tweets. But you can tweet us at N4G Podcast. You can send us emails to podcasts at ZTGD.com. Now running through my Outlook straight to my face, so I see him immediately. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at ZTGD. Ryan is at WombatRP. The site is at ZTGD Content. Phoenix Down. What's up?
I'm at Complacent Robot.
Oh! You didn't want me to read it forever.
Yeah, fuck it. I don't give a shit.
Okay, there you go.
Tell me how much you hate me.
I do that on a weekly basis.
I know you do.
Phoenix Down, rocking out Kiwami. I believe that is done.
And then they're taking on some other big thing.
Assassin's Creed?
Oh my god.
I'm guessing.
Origins, right?
Origins, yeah.
Yeah, but still, like, just...
Origins is the smallest of the new three.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, by a
That game's
country
still
mile.
huge.
It is.
By far, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I know it's smaller than Odyssey, but I thought it was equivalent at least to Valhalla. Holy
No,
shit.
Valhalla's fucking
Valhalla,
huge.
yeah, Valhalla is probably bigger than Odyssey, just
Oh,
in terms
really?
of things to do. It feels that way, at least, I can tell you.
Is it
having
dense,
spent
or
100 hours in both.
is it more dense, or is it
It's
like
hard to
spread
tell.
out?
I'd have to try to compare the maps, like, with distance somehow. But the map might technically be bigger in Odyssey, but it definitely feels bigger because there's so much water. You know what I mean? Here there's land, so it makes it easier to traverse. So it's hard to compare the map size, but I can tell you just in terms of things to do, Valhalla feels bigger to me.
That's how Ubisoft said, like, they had a bigger map in Watch Dogs 2. It's like, yeah, it's a bigger map. It's like, yeah, the middle part is all water. There's nothing in it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finally play Watch Dogs Legion this week when the patch drops.
Have fun with that.
I mean, I'm sure.
It's a fine game. It's just they clearly don't know what they're doing with that series. It's just fine, I guess. It's just disappointing because it's like, I liked the direction they were going with originally, and then the direction they went with 2, I was like, okay, I could do with more of this, with some and then they went a totally different direction with 3, and it's like, clearly this is not their main focus.
All right, but that's everything we got for this week. I have a question. I don't know. Both of you guys might be on the show next week. Do we do the E3 thing next week? It'll be the last show before E3 happens. We do a prediction show every year.
Is it while the Bethesda Xbox is going on?
That is the week after.
After.
Yeah. That's the 13th. So next week will be the last recording we do before we're talking E3 shit.
I mean, I'll be on unless I get into a horrible accident, so...
Oh, that's a good outlook of life. Good job.
I mean, hey, like, I'm just saying, I don't know how else to put it. Like, I'm gonna be here,
All right, well, we'll do predictions next week, and then we'll talk about...
I have none.
We'll
Done.
talk about the week after, because I don't want to record during the Xbox Bethesda thing. Because let's be fair, none of us would be paying attention while they were doing that. So, and I don't want to do a live reacts to it, so we'll figure something out for the E3 show. We usually don't do that on Sunday anyway. We usually do that another day and just try to work around schedules. So we'll figure that out then. But that's it for this week. Enjoy your video games. Don't complain about video game character faces, and don't fight over plastic boxes.
Yeah, I saw that, by the way.
Oh yeah,
It
right.
came up.
Yeah.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is
That
uncomfortable.
makeup photo that somebody did. It's like, this is what she should look like. I'm like, that's uncomfortable.
But anyway, unless anybody has anything else, we're going to get out of here. Peace, bitch.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G podcast. $0.
This is going to be a very interesting episode.
GathersCon.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat. And
always would be an angry.
Killer Wolverine. Play games, not consoles. No fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon. 8.0.
Killed the dragon.